Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Maybe others will join. Start the session for today. Krishna Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya, Padlashinte, Ramana Swami Dhaname. Nama Om Krishna Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya, Padlashinte, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dhaname. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prachani, Nirvasesha Shinivadi, Paschata Desthani. Hare Krishna everyone. Today we couldn't have an in-person session. There was a lot of snow in our area, at least the east side. It's difficult to travel. Even to get out of the home is difficult. So we had to again resolve to online session. But next week definitely we'll have in person. So last week we discussed about the identity aspect from chapter 2. How we are fundamentally a soul which goes through multiple lifetimes of experience. So if we are a soul, and we carry these various bodies in various lifetimes, so that knowledge implies, for Arjuna especially, who is in the war zone, does it imply that one can neglect his body? Because it doesn't matter. He can kill anybody, and it doesn't matter because the soul is existing forever. Correct? So does it mean the knowledge of soul, the knowledge of soul shouldn't imply that one can neglect body? Shouldn't be that. Does it mean indiscriminate killing is allowed because we are soul? We can take it like that, right? Negatively also we can say, indiscriminate killing, is this allowed because we are soul? What do you all think? Anybody? Because we are not the body, we are soul. Is indiscriminate killing okay? Indiscriminate means,
No,
huh?
no.
No, right? Yeah, no. So, in fact, understanding that we are soul, we should now act dutifully. Hmm? So, how to act dutifully, right? So, second chapter, after covering the identity, it covers the dutiful action. Because now, okay, you are not this body, Arjuna. So, what do you have to do? You have to dutifully act as a warrior in this fight, right? So the knowledge of dutiful action is described next in various verses. So first of all, before coming here, before coming to the topic of karma yoga, we all understand at least the idea of destiny. What is destiny mean? Any um, any thoughts? We all sometimes feel, oh, my my destiny is like this, that's why this is happening like this. Did you ever feel like that in life? What are these various thoughts about destiny? Some people think, oh, something that's not in my hand, right? That's the understanding of destiny. Some people have a little more mature answer, like say, plan of the plan for my soul. It's all fixed and plan for my soul, right? Any other thoughts on what is destiny? Some people say, oh, this is something inevitable. Isn't it? Any other thoughts?
It could be reactions of our past karma and our current karma. We can like
Yes.
change.
Yeah,
Like that.
primarily destiny is, yeah, past. Yeah. Reaction to reactions of past karma. This is a standard understanding. Past actions. Yeah. So these are the various understandings of yeah, destiny. Yeah. So in Bhagavad Gita, destiny is defined as, the concept of destiny is we all are on an eternal journey and we have acted in various ways in the past and in the current life. So we all, let's start like, we're all born at some point and we pass away from this world at some point, right? There is a birth, and after a defined time, there is death. So during this lifetime, the journey of this lifetime, the destiny is something that is delivered to us at various points in time, continuously, right? So your past actions, the results of the past actions delivered to you at various instances, and primarily at large, more a lot of things are determined at birth. This is the one major installment. The first one is a major installment. Why? It is almost decided whether you are a male or female, whether you are born in a rich family or poor family, whether you are born in India or America, or whether you are born in many things, or it's a major installment. After that, also you would get at various instances based on, so, and some of these could be positive, some of them could be negative, right? So in this way, destiny is given to us at various times in life. So this is the basic understanding of destiny. A timely delivery of your past results of your past actions. So this is the basic understanding. And then at the birth time, you have majority of the destiny is determined. So this understanding is important. Let's keep that concept on the side. In this world, generally, our understanding is whenever we whenever we perform an action, an action gives results. Normally, I perform an action of 20, I get result of 20. Isn't it? This is the basic principle of life. For example, you eat food, certain food, and you get accordingly the energy, right? You pay some amount, you get exactly for that amount, you get the result. You won't get, you pay $10 for an item, you get only $10 worth of item. You won't get $20. So this is the way of functioning in this world, right? Is the basic principle of life, and this is how action results. Action gives results, and the same thing is the fundamental principle of even science. Science calls it slightly differently. It calls it as cause, and for every cause there is an effect, isn't it? So science is basically the study of cause and effect. But in our experience, we all, we do certain action and we expect certain amount of result. That is natural. However, for example, sometimes we do a lot of hard work. This is the size of the hard work we did. For example, so we did 100 hard work, but the result is 10. Did it happen to you anytime? Anybody? I worked very, very hard, but I didn't get much as I was expecting.
Always, Prabhuji, always.
Always. Yeah, that's true. Uh, and yeah, many times we forget also. Sometimes we do little, but we get big result. It happens. You have to carefully see. We tend to, so this thing we always try to remember. When we don't get what we deserve, what we think we deserve, we always remember. And this thing we try to forget. So some simple example. Suppose you are working on a project in a team for last 3 years, and you're almost there. At the time, almost there, and somebody joins as the lead. You are the lead engineer, but somebody joins and the lead left, and another lead joins, new lead, and he works only like 3 months. He gets the total idea, and finally the project succeeds. And sometimes they'll be awarded. They'll be they'll be given more credit than they deserve. He got, like, for his 10 effort, he got 100. For your 100 effort, maybe you're not in the forefront. You may get only 10. This happens all the time, isn't it? So then, yeah, this is the, experientially, this is the problem. Like, how do we understand this, right? So this is, but what we are seeing here is this part that we discussed here. This is the present action. What is it? Present action, and this is result, right? Present action is 100, result is 10, or present action is 10 and result is 100. So to better understand this, right? Now when we add the aspect of destiny, for example, your past destiny is minus 90. Now you add that up to 100, you get 10, right? So the destiny comes into action in that way. So basically, destiny is your result of past actions. So your current result is not just dependent on your current action. The destiny also plays a key role, and it determines what is the net result, right? And sometimes you may did only 10, but your destiny is plus 90. It just added up, this directly added to the net result, and this directly added to the net result, right? So in this way, sometimes our destiny is such that it will add to what our current action is in a positive way, and in certain cases it acts in a negative way, right? It depends on what is your balance. This is your balance due, right? This is given in installments at various points in time, but it is a factor in the overall equation of your results, correct? So without this understanding, one may get frustrated when they worked hard with 100 and they get 10. It leads to frustration. So the
Prabhuji, one question. Is this balance of destiny is it the same for all aspects of our life? So say like spiritual, if our current action we're thinking about is like a spiritual action versus like a material action, is that same destiny balance, like does it affect all aspects of life in the same way, or is it like
yeah,
different?
generally action is all the balance due is primarily material. Spiritual actions generally nullify the destiny, good and bad karma both actually. So we will discuss that little more in the future sessions, how we handle that part. Okay, the spiritual actions and their results.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, so Prabhuji, something similar to what Keshav Prabhu was saying. So we see that some devotees, they come into spiritual life and they're able to advance really fast,
Yeah.
while others take time. So is that also because sort of the balance of destiny that we're talking about?
Yes, that's true. So some people, they have past destiny. For example, I have a friend. When I joined Krishna consciousness, I'm still trying to understand whether God exists or not. We joined at the same time almost. My friend was already mature. He was spiritually very mature. His name is Sundar Gopal in Bangalore. Like he he started chanting very way faster than I did. Everything was chuck 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 very fast. So definitely, whether it is, yeah, even spiritually, people are evolving over their lifetimes, and the destiny, of course, includes their spiritual growth. I'm talking about here more from material results. That's why I said, the spiritual results don't count here. But yeah, so evolution of spirit, in the same way works. Yes. Yeah. Prabhakar Prabhu.
So sometimes the balance may be instead of -90, it might be, let's say, -1000. And no matter what we do, we won't get the action, the result. So in that case, should we like there is how do we recognize whether we should not try at all, or like is it actually reducing from -1000 to, let's say, -900 or something?
Yeah.
Like sometimes we just need to stop doing the action, right?
Yes. Now we have to realize maybe this is not my area to explore. If we try to if we try to teach how to run fast to an elephant, over a period of 1 year, it gets depressed because it can never do it. It has its own strengths. So we have to identify our strengths based on the results we are getting, understand, where our scope of growth is, and basically focus on our strengths, and not overstretch ourselves, just focused on results, right? Yeah. So that's a good point. So based on our destiny, sometimes we need to understand where we are heading and whether we are going in the right direction, whether we are doing the right actions. Maybe our strengths are somewhere else, so we need to be open-minded about it. Okay.
Yep. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. 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 So I had no I had a friend. My friend, one day when I was at his home, I saw one of the certificate, on the wall. I asked my friend, what was this certificate, and he said, "This is my child's chess championship, junior chess championship certificate." And I asked about, how, what is his journey towards getting the junior championship. He said, so my son, at the age of 4, when I was playing with my friend, he just saw this game and he asked me how to play the game, and in the next game, he and me, I thought him and he and me played a game. The first game he was defeated, being new to the game and trying to understand what that is. And in the second game itself, he won. And then his growth story started. It was unstoppable. Within like 8 years, 9 years, he became a champion player. So much of his result is coming from previous lifetimes. It's not because he's just started, and within a few games he was already showing extraordinary caliber in the game, right? So sometimes our destiny, say this is action, destiny, result, right? Sometimes our action is almost 0, or destiny is 100, you get 100. At some other time, you have a destiny of 50, destiny of 50, and you work very hard, and you net resulted in 100. Or sometimes you didn't have any destiny of it, almost 0, not negative 1,000 like Prabhakar Prabhu said. You have 0, but your hard work was creating enough result that you also got like 100 result. Extreme hard work, that's possible. Even though you have nothing in your destiny, you can still achieve something through just sheer hard work. So all of this is possible, but how much you stretch is depending on individuals' capacity and all. But the point is, we shouldn't be too much worked up if we get, say, even negative result, for example, sometimes, right? Because if our destiny is such that we don't get, doesn't mean that we don't act, because action, irrespective of the the desired result, still purifies us. So that we'll get, that concept we'll learn towards the end of the class. Yeah. So action. Just let me get a water. Sorry. Yeah. So let's understand, there are two philosophies to understand this karma. So the idea is actions gives results. As a concept, there are two broad categories of thought. The one category is called karma vada. The other is called daiva vada. Daiva vada is the idea that the result is predetermined. No matter what I do, doesn't matter, my destiny is fixed. What I get, my past actions fully determine the current result. The idea is, Past actions gives full results. Karmavada is my current action gives all the results. Okay. So my Karmavada is only my actions today gives all the results. Daivavada is no matter what I do now gives my results are based on my past actions. So if only my present actions determine all the results that I get in my life, right? Based on Karmavada, what happens? At a physical level and at a mental level, right? So physical level and at a mental level, right? At a physical level, because your actions are giving all the results, you want to give your best or you want to work hard. You work very, very hard because you know everything is determined based on your action. This is, modern man's ideology, right? So you become very industrious, very hardworking. At a mental level, what happens? You become very restless because
Right.
because you think everything is determined by your actions. So there are times when you get good results. Sometimes you work 100, you get 10. Then what happens? It's because of me I got. So when you don't get good result, what happens? You think that it is because of me I'm not getting result. You see? So because there is so much focus on me being the doer and my results are directly attributed to my actions, right? So naturally there is mental restlessness. Physically, a lot of hard work, and mentally, there is highly high restlessness. So this is more a Western thought. This is more Eastern thought. This is more right wing for right wing in political thought, right? So this is more for leftist, right? So now what happens in the Karmavada is at a physical level, generally life it becomes comfortable. I mean, you have better facilities. Life is comfortable, but at a mental level, you are more miserable. You see, if you see Western world, previously people were working very hard. They were working physically hard. Now physical hard work is less. Most of us just work on computer, software development, etc. But the same physical problems have now translated to mental problems. Like there is a lot of stress, anxiety, depression. So the problems are have changed their area from being physical. Earlier there was struggle to get food, all of that, but now those were translated to mental problems, right? So you're basically comfortably miserable in this, if you're just completely Karmavada, at a physical level you're comfortable, at a mental level you're miserable. So this is if you are just completely a Karmavada where you believe that your actions are only determinant of the net results, right? So now let's go a little deeper in this. So now what happens when an event happens, right? For example, when an event happens in a Karmavada's life, right? Say you lose something, right? So how does mind interpret for a Karmavada? So anything happens, you are a believer in a certain philosophy. So mind accordingly interprets. So you lose something, then It is because everything is based on your action. You attribute to yourself. So you say, I have lost. Or, I did, repeatedly various actions with everything I'm losing. Then you say, I am lost. This is a little deeper. You lose many, many times. Then you say, I am lost. Then you become despair. You consider, because nothing that you do is working. Then you think the worst of all is, I am a loser. So this is how mind interprets in the Karmavada. Because now you attribute everything to your own strengths or your own abilities, right? Yeah. Now on the Daivavada side, this is more of Eastern, thought. When in the early 19th century, in late 18th century, when people were, people of Western origin are visiting India, they saw Indian people. Most of them are, living in a very simple conditions, and very simple-hearted, not too much careful, not too much caring about physical comforts. The streets are all not very clean, etc. So, but they are aware of the lofty thought that India had already is known for, like the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and the Itihasas. They would wonder, like, how the people living in such physical conditions are the inheritors of such deeper and higher philosophy. It is because of the way of their of their life, because many of them had this Daivavada understanding of life. So in Daivavada, you know, uh, so people at a physical level, they don't bother too much. So naturally, there is less care for it, apathy. And if you neglect it, it becomes lethargic. People become lethargic towards physical needs, right? And so at a physical level, they are uncomfortable compared to the other case. Karma was a physical level comfortable, but at a mental level, the Dayavada, mental level, it doesn't matter. They just tolerate whatever is coming their way. They just tolerate. So they are uncomfortably peaceful. This is the characteristic of these people, right? So there is apathy towards physical needs, and so physically they are uncomfortable, but mentally they are peaceful. Okay, so this is the other extreme where you consider everything is based on past actions. I don't, I just tolerate injustice also. It doesn't matter to me so much. Either extremes are not good, by the way. So in this area, you are basically uncomfortably peaceful. So now, how do they take events? For example, there is injustice compared to, like, we discussed laws there. If there is injustice, how do these people react? They just tolerate. Think that this is temporary, body is temporary, and whatever I am destined is what I'm getting. So I just accept what, without question, right? But the danger is, so this kind of thing leads to aggravation of pain for suppressed people. And that's what we have seen, casteism and these things have proliferated in the Indian subcontinent, because people started taking advantage of the nature of the people, and things negatively aggravated and produce certain negative results like casteism, or dowry, or so many things like that. So there are there are positives and negatives to both, and so we have to take a balance, right? um, so the karma philosophy is not meant, okay, to give us some kind of a judgment on what we are, based on our past. It's not about, okay, you are you are so and so you get so and so results, and that's it, you are fixed. It's not like that. It's actually to give us an understanding that our current results are not just based on our current actions. It is also equally dependent on our past actions and their net results, right? So it's in a way, our actions are still in our hand. So it's a philosophy of encouragement. If you don't get the result that you desire, you don't have to be worked up too much. It may be because your destiny doesn't support. Even your hard work doesn't go in waste, right? Suppose you are trying to be nice to a very harsh person, and he wouldn't change, but you have nurtured the value of tolerance, and you grow in. You may not see external growth. Sometimes by your actions, you may not see the net external result which you may want, but there is also inner growth. Okay, so inner growth happens irrespective, and karma helps us understand whether we get the net result or not, the desired result or not. The inner growth is still happening, so it is still good. Doesn't matter. Sometimes we get the results we may expect, sometimes we may not. But it is a philosophy that balances. We may be, sometimes we feel unfair in certain things, in the way we are treated, or in the way we get the results. In some other areas, we may get results again unfairly, where in a positive way. Sometimes we get unfairly in a negative way. Sometimes we get unfairly in a positive way. So in the bigger picture, actually, in the bigger picture, the world is actually unfairly fair. In certain areas, in certain aspects, we may feel unfair in the way we get the results. In in other areas, also we get unfair, but in a positive way. It happens to everyone. Nobody is an exception. So it's overall, in the net, it's unfairly fair. It's just that we may want in certain areas and may not get in that particular area, but in a different area we may have a fair result more than what we deserve. Okay, so yeah, so destiny. So is destiny? No, the question is destiny fixed or is it not fixed? Destiny is all about past. What do you all think? Is my destiny fixed or is it not fixed?
Not fixed.
Okay, not fixed.
Not fixed for devotees.
Not fixed for devotees. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. In the sense, in the sense of past karma balance, your karma balance, as a reserve, it is fixed. But how the unfolding of the karma balance? So this is where the trick is. So carefully understand this, right? You may be destined, your destiny may have certain things that are coming to you due at various points in time, but the unfolding of destiny, the unfolding of destiny as a, in your life is something in your hand. How the installments come uh, is in your hand. How you take that. For example, I'll give you a couple of examples so it becomes easy. Suppose in your destiny, it is written that you are prone to hit an accident. Okay? You are driving on the road, and there is a good chance in your destiny that you will go through an accident. That is already your past balance. Now, being a very careful driver, if you are extremely cautious and and you understand you understand that the person who is on the other side is potentially going to cause some danger to you, and you carefully take yourself to the side using your own um, judgment and you know carefulness, you would avoid the accident. You would reduce the impact. Even though an accident may happen, the net impact is going to be reduced because of your current action, right? So even though so on the other hand, suppose you are drunk and you are you're as careless as anybody else, and there is another careless driver coming on the other side, there is a very dangerous collision, and the net result will be the unfolding of destiny is going to be very bad, isn't it? So a lot so it's not fixed in the sense that the unfolding is still in a way in your hand, how the impact is going to be, uh, right? So it's not like fully in your hand, but to a good extent you can manage it in a better way. For example, somebody by his destiny gets cancer, but he is such a person, he lived a very he lived a very pure life, and he carefully had taken good care of his body all his life. He has maintained diet and exercise. Now the doctor says, hey, you have to be very careful with your diet and you have to follow this diet. It is very easy for him. In fact, I'll give you an example. We have Harivilash Maharaj in our temple in Samamesh. He he got a very major illness like 1.5 year back, and his body shrinked like anything. He was almost very, very thin. But the way he recuperated is just magical. He completely recuperated because he always lived a very healthy life. He had a very good diet, and whatever remedies doctor have given, he followed, and he took the protein diet and all. He came back. He was 79, almost 80 years, but he recovered completely. No, he became almost normal. He's doing everything on by himself now. It's because of the action in the current life. Yeah, go ahead. I think I'm hearing Mudra. You can unmute and ask the question.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You have this diagram, judgment, and what is the other word there? And
Yeah. So this is encouragement. Yeah.
Okay.
Karma philosophy is not there to give us judgment about what we get, what we don't get. It is a philosophy to encourage us. Yeah.
So how, Prabhuji, can you... Okay, you are saying encourage us to do good things or watch out for our karmas.
Irrespective of negative results,
Hmm.
we understand that there is also, my action is not alone the cause of the result. There is my past due destiny, and sometimes I may get more than what I deserve, sometimes I may get less than what I deserve. I don't get in physical terms. when I get net result negative, still I grow internally. It doesn't mean that I don't grow internally. Inner growth is always there. Spiritual growth. External growth sometimes is there or not. When it is not there, we don't feel too depressed because we understand the philosophy of karma. Right? That I'm not going to be fairly going to get every time the result I desire or I want. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Achut Prabhu. You have
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, actually, my question was, I think in the previous page you were mentioning that even though the destiny is 0, but we still, if we do the hard work, then we can get the result. So
possible.
actually, I was thinking, and I was trying to remember a few of the shlokas where, like, for example, there is Ahankara Vimunatma Karta Hamiti Manyate, where Krishna is saying that you are not the doer. Or there are other shlokas where, like, Adhishtanam Tata Karta. So where Krishna is trying to say there are 5 different factors. So I was thinking, like, this kind of uh, thought process actually makes me do a lot of hard work where even though I feel that I might not be able to achieve it, but I have that hope that, oh, let me do that hard work and let me even though it might not be in the destiny, and let me try to achieve it. So I wanted to understand, if it's possible, then what should be my approach towards when I'm trying to achieve my goals.
Okay. So it depends on your need, and priority. Sometimes there is something that you desperately need for your own spiritual growth, and you really think it is the right priority. Even though if your destiny is less, still, through hard work, you believe it is good for you, you still want to continue to put your efforts and get it, right? Not necessarily bad, just destiny 0 doesn't mean that, you don't put any efforts. It depends on, your priority. And yeah, ultimately, it is, for example, yeah, there are very bad examples in history, like those who worship Lord Brahma to achieve, very, very bad wounds, for example, right? Yeah, so those examples are there, which tell us, we shouldn't try that badly, but in a positive way, sometimes we can try, if even if though our, there are people who find it very difficult to read Sanskrit slokas. In the destiny, it is almost like 0. But through hard work or a period of multiple years, they learn it, and uh, they are able to do it, which is a good thing. So it depends on what your goal is. It's not like always wrong, but if you have time and priority, then it is still okay, I think.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I don't know if it answered you.
It answered, Prabhuji, yes. Actually, I was remembering even this thing where when you talked about Hiranyakashipu, the Hiranyakashipu actually did austerity for so many years, and then even though he had achieved something, probably it was not in his destiny, but he lost it. And
Yeah.
then
So most of them happen like that.
Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee, and even though he didn't put that hard
He didn't
work,
ask for anything.
yeah,
He's 0 and he got 100.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shruti?
Oh, yes, Prabhuji. I'm trying to understand destiny with the example of accident that you gave.
Hmm.
Say, for example, for a person, the accident was bound to happen, but if he was careful, he could reduce the impact. So, in this case, what does destiny determine? Does it determine the event of an accident happening, or does it determine the result that would come out of that event? Say, for example, a very bad accident happened and both the drivers were not at all careful, but still one person was not at all affected. So what was the destiny here, like that he'll run into an accident, or will that person will be saved no matter how bad it was?
No, destiny is primarily energies. it points to it. It doesn't determine the net result. It it's like, but it has a force as well, like how bad. And in certain cases it is almost like predetermined. If it's like a train hitting a car, it's almost predetermined, because the destiny is so strong. By the amount of destiny, you can say, okay, this is gone case. Yeah. So it depends. But the general understanding is, yeah, those are like completely out of your hand, right? So, but the general understanding is, so you have a net force that is coming your way. That is how it is. And by the way, however bad destiny is one may have, if one is spiritually, very strongly founded, in a prayerful mode, that will give a lot of strength to face it, right? For example, if he is very, the driver is very prayerful, and has some kirtan going on in the car. We have heard stories of devotees who sometimes had this momentary sleep while they are driving the car, and the kirtan is going on, and they almost hit the curb, and car tilted over, and they are still saved. There are many stories like that. But yeah, so there is Lord's protection. We are not discussing that now. Yeah, but that intervention also is there. Yeah, so we are completely talking from pure the net result of past actions only here. Okay, so that Daiva intervention is a separate aspect. We'll discuss that later. So that's why it is mentioned, for karma does not directly act in the life of a devotee, because the actions there are the actions that a spiritual practitioner performs are net negative to the destiny that is uh, in his due balance. Like, if you look at the remedies of astrological remedies for various things, for nakshatras there are remedies, and for various aspects there are remedies. Many of them are related to japa, offering prayers, offering arati, or donating in charity. So you can see, so by the way, the remedies are primarily there to reduce the impact of the destiny. If something is very aggravated, it's meant to reduce the impact of it in a positive way. So the point I'm trying to say is, the spiritual practices are net nullifiers of destiny. It reduces the impact by a large degree. Did it make any sense? Or
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
okay, Shashwat, Prabhu.
Haribol Dandavats, Prabhuji. Maybe I can make this quick. In the previous slide, Prabhuji, 24. Yeah. So over here, you can correct me if my understanding is wrong. The actions we put based on Daiva or Karmavada philosophy, the results get determined, whether it's from past actions or from our current actions. I'm more interested in making results zero, so that irrespective of the amount of actions I do, there's no repercussions or anything carrying forth later. Meaning, even if actions go above 100, 200, results don't bother. But I want to make sure that there is nothing else carrying forward, so that everything is in the result is for a way that doesn't incur either of these Daiva or Karmavada philosophies. How do we
that
do
is
that?
transcendental action, or akarma, which we'll discuss, in the future sessions. But the idea is when when you act with the understanding of how everything is, ultimately dovetailed to the Supreme. With that understanding, when we act in life, that is net zero action, meaning the result is zero, and it in fact it has the effect of erasing the past karmic balance as well. So the spiritual actions that we do, like japa every day we do, right, that has the net effect of not only deepening your spiritual connection, it also eliminates a lot of your past juice, the past destiny that you are due. Okay, it doesn't mean that the entire karma will be gone. Like we discuss in later chapters, there is sanchit karma and there is prarabdha karma. There are certain things. For example, if you have already bought the ticket to an airplane, and if you are already boarded, you cannot change the destiny. Correct. So there are karmic results at various stages. There are certain things just based on your birth itself. Certain things are already fixed. Like at certain age, you are going to get something. Those are fixed. Of course, again, you have the how it comes and how you react is again still in your hand. But those prarabdha karmas you cannot avoid. Even though whatever you do, okay, the impact will be reduced. For example, if your leg were to be cut, it may go with a pinch, for example. Okay, so the net effect may go down, but there are things that will come anyway. It's not going to be zero. And when it comes, how the impact is going to be is based on how you live in this life, and how you have grown spiritually, so many things like that.
Very well, Prabhu.
Okay. So the main understanding here is, so I think we are here, right? Destiny is not fixed. Yeah. We are not destiny. We are not controllers of our destiny, because destiny is coming to us, right? So in this life, destiny is kind of fixed. We are not controller, but we are makers of our destiny. So this is the positive side of it. Meaning we still have a handle of it if we act properly in this lifetime. Because we can still act positively and control how the unfolding of destiny in our life happens. Right? Suppose, this is how it is, right? So by your destiny, for example, there is a betrayal coming your way. Somebody is going to cheat you in life. Okay. This is your due balance coming in your lifetime, right? You may be a person who acted kind in your life, had very good friends who you can depend on. When the betrayal happens, you naturally get a lot of support. So the impact is going to be minimized. You have many people who you can get relief from and support from, right? You get all kinds of support. On the other hand, suppose you have behaved in a mean way all your life, never supported anybody, always acted selfishly. Nobody is there whom you can call as your friend, right? The impact is that you are going to face the whole problem yourself. So impact is maximized. You see? So your present action is very important. How you act in your life in every aspect of it. because how you face situations in life is determined by all of your actions in this lifetime, right? Now let's read an important sloka about karma yoga. Now we understand with all this background, right? Understanding of destiny, past actions, and uh, current actions and the results, right? So let's read 47, I think. Let's read this verse together. Achyut Prabhu, you want to read?
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Karman. Should I?
Karmanyevadikaraste.
Karmanyavadikaraste
Karmanyevadikaraste.
ma phaleshu kadarachana
Ma phaleshu kadachana.
ma karma phala heturbhuru urma
Ma karma phala heturbhur.
ma te sangostava karmani.
Ma te sangostva karmani. Yeah, read the translation.
Translation: You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty.
So there are four important points here. Okay. The first aspect is you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Okay. There are many duties one can do, good and bad. You have the right, you have the choice to do the right thing. This is, you can say, point A, right? Secondly, you're not entitled to the fruits of action. The first is duty or action. Second is fruits or results. You are not entitled to the fruits means just because you performed action doesn't mean that you are entitled to the fruits. You are not guaranteed to get the fruits that you desired, right? You're not entitled to the fruits. Third point, C, is never consider yourself the cause of action, right? Means you are not, your current action is not the only reason for your results. So if one may ask, if my current action is not the determiner of the result of my actions, why should I act? So the fourth stanza answers that. Never be attached to not doing your duty. You still need to act because that is in your good interest. Okay. So people, oh, okay, the result, what I get is not just based on my action. So why should I act? So Bhagavad Gita sloka says, you should still act without any attachment. So now let's break it down into what it said, right? So you're here. There is action, current action. There is past action or past, just, and there is result. So the first part said, you have a right to perform prescribed duty. You have a choice to act in this world, but you're not entitled to the fruits. Not entitled to the fruits means the result is not deterministic in your hand. Fruit is not in your hand. The third part says, never consider yourself the cause of results of your activities. Never consider yourself the cause of your activities. Your actions are not the deterministic force for the result. At the same time, never be attached to not doing your duty. Because result is not in your hand, you don't say, I'm not going to perform my actions. Okay? So this is the philosophy of karma yoga. Okay? So does it mean that, in the previous verse, actually in 41st verse, read the translation. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of Kuru, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. What it says is, you still set good goals in life. Before you act, goal is something that you set before you act, right? So because if I act, the result is not in my hand. Should I even have goals in my life? People ask, right? So setting goals is important. We should wholeheartedly set goals. It's not like we are, just because result is not in our hand doesn't mean that we don't have proper goals in life. Okay? But if you don't get the result that you want, we shouldn't be frustrated, because it's not completely in your hand. You see? So this is the ultimate teaching of karma yoga. So setting goals is, before we act. This is before we act, this is after you act. What you get is not in your hand. So don't be too much worked up on that. If you're too much focused on the result, you may not, focus on doing your work properly. So goal setting is not wrong. You can set goals to grow in whatever way you want, whether it is in spiritual areas or when at your office or material areas, doesn't matter. You can set good goals. That's fine. But don't be attached to your results too much. And because that will lead to frustration, right? Because the external result is not the only factor we consider, especially as a spiritualist. There is internal growth, irrespective of external results. There is inner growth. So the inner growth will continue to help you, whether in this lifetime or in this action or in the next. So you take that as a lesson and move forward to your next thing, right? There is this fail fast ideology where you want to fail. There are many things we may fail. Doesn't mean we stop there. We just fail fast and learn and move on with the lessons. So that is the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita too. Okay. So for example, if you are dealing with a difficult person, you may wonder why, my life is like that. I have to deal with this manager every single day. I'm not happy, neither he is happy. No, there is internal growth. You are developing tolerance on how to deal with such people. There is inner growth through that. Okay. We should always see what lessons we have in every situation in life. Externally, we may not be very comfortable or peaceful or happy. But if you take it as an lessons of inner growth, then you grow through that experience, right? Yeah. So sometimes, our actions may not feel like uh, there is, for every action there is external result, there is internal result. Okay. There is an external result, but we should not be too much worked up on the action. Focus should not be too much on the external result alone. There is so much skill and soft abilities that we develop. uh, the inner results, the growth inside that happens is something that we may not see very vividly, but that is always there. Okay. So our actions still matter even if they seem not to. Just because you don't have an external result doesn't mean that your action didn't matter. Sometimes we feel that, oh, I did so many, but it didn't work. No, it's not like that. Even though the actions seem to not matter, they still matter, because we, as a spiritualist especially, we should consider both the inner as well as outer growth. Okay. So we shouldn't feel discouraged when the desired external result doesn't come. There is an internal growth, inner growth. Spiritually as well as in a skill wise also, they will grow through our experiences in life. So how we act is very important. Okay. Wow, already 1:15. Any questions? Any further questions? Yeah, Shruti, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So does it mean that in our material endeavors we should just do the needful?
Do the needful, and if your nature is such that you want to do more, that's fine. You can work more as well. It's, yeah, the idea is, consider both inner growth as well as outer growth, not just outer growth alone. Okay. The as you grow spiritually more and more, you will focus on just doing the needful. But at our stage, in the beginning stages of Krishna consciousness, etc., we should not drastically reduce our material endeavors. We should continue, and that should happen as a natural transition. Okay. We should do the needful, and if required, sometimes we should do extra work. For example, office requires you to work a little more, you may have to spend that, because we are not at a level where we can complete. We may become restless if we don't, or if we don't act properly, right? So yeah. Any other questions or any other points that you want to share? Like some, devotees shared, like Shashwat and Pachit Prabhu. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
One example came to mind regarding the destiny analogy, Prabhu. So, uh, this happened during the demonetization time back home. Like personally, like our family knew a devotee community or a family who had like a lot of black money, Prabhu. They were worried that demonetization is going to like get everything taken away and all. But at that time, the temple also was building like a huge complex. So Krishna arranged all that money to be used for instead of getting raided off. So, uh, like they were telling that this is like destiny. Like when money is going to be spent, purpose is for Krishna seva. When you are a devotee, if you are not a devotee, it'll be used somewhere else.
Interesting. Yeah. Anyone else want to share anything? Yeah, Shruti, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji, one more question. So you mentioned about destiny in terms of time factor. So I want to understand, what does the time factor play? Like, what is the role of time factor uh, when destiny unfolds?
Yeah. Time is the most important factor in giving our destiny. That is the reason when we act, especially in the Vedic tradition, we look at time as an important factor to begin an action, especially to start a new activity, etc. Because every action has a cycle, and you want to make sure you align with the time. And and our destiny is given in installments, I said, right? Like this. And these are events in our life, key events, whatever it is. So the destiny comes as an addition or a subtraction, sometimes. And time is a is the is like a invisible force, inconspicuous aspect of God that actually determines when what things are given to us, right? So these things, somebody gets married at 20 years, somebody gets married at 30 years, because their due balance comes at that particular time only, and that's when it happens. You may try whatever, but it it just aligns accordingly, right? So time is more or less like a cause of action. We think we are working, but the real time factor is such an important thing. Time gives the momentum to action. Time is when things will come in place. You know, in to an extreme way, some people say, especially astrologers, believe that time is the cause of action. Time is the net giver of the results, right? Yeah. So time is a very important factor. and you know how time gives results can be known by the position of planetary positions at which a person is born, because everything happens in a cycle, and according to the time of your birth, at which the zodiac position of your constellations in a way determine when you are going to. It's not that planets are determining. Planets are, again, the same destiny that controls you also are controlling the planets. But because it's a relative, uh, it's a relative factor. By understanding the position of planets, you can understand at what relative level I am. So at what position, certain conjunctions, disjunctions happen, and net results you get accordingly. So planets help us in a way to tell when critical events happen. Yeah. Anyway, that's a separate science completely, astrology. I'm trying to learn it a little bit. Okay. Anything else?
Yes, Prabhuji. Is that why people see muhurta before beginning any?
Yes. Because much of this world is controlled by time. People don't know. This is a very subtle science. Only, Vedic, tradition has the understanding of it. Because there is a certain energy, there is a positive energy that comes at certain times. There are negative energies that come at certain times, and if you align with the energy, your actions that propel the action in the right direction. So muhurtas are basically for that. So it has a very scientific, because you're aligning with the energies of the universe, because universe is you know um, it's all connected. There is nothing disconnected. The whole thing is in the body of Lord. Just like if I pinch you on the head, you immediately know. Or if I pinch you on the toe also, you will know. Because it's all connected. And these planets and everything, you are connected. You are part and parcel of God. And so movements there in the planetary system is going to, in a way, affect, what happens to you. Just like, nervous system works throughout the body, right? It's all connected. So everything, nothing is disconnected in this world, in this universe. We may see them disconnectedly because of our, limited vision, but everything is factored in. And for those who are, exclusively dependent on Lord, things are safeguarded in many, many ways. That's why, we encourage everybody to chant, because you don't know how much support you are getting from that. You may not realize, you may think like, oh, I'm just chanting, but there is immense support karmically you are getting with that. Japa is one of the best remedy for a lot of karmic imbalances. Yeah, so that's why, I mean, we don't consider for that, by the way. We primarily do it for spiritual growth, but that is also there. Okay, I think we are almost 125. Prabhakar, go ahead. We'll take this the final question.
The point that like they say whatever happens for the best, right?
Yes.
Just wanted to
yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, we have to have the right vision. Ultimately, life is a, universe is a university. Every day you are learning. Okay, and we should not just focus on results. If we are just focused on results, that's when we forget to take the lessons from life. Every incident is a teacher. Yeah, so there are many stories we can discuss next week. It's getting too late. Whatever happens is in our best interest. We may not realize at the time. There was a story of a person who had repeated problems getting on board. So they were very excited to get on a journey in Titanic. But in the last week, the son of the family got really badly sick, and is so sick that the whole family was not allowed to board the. They felt, what, we spent so much money in our tickets, we planned the whole year. Now when it is time for us to leave for this great journey in Titanic, we're not able to make the journey. But then what happened after that, right? So it was all in their destiny that they still have many years to live. So we never know. Just by immediate destiny, we cannot say what is good, what is bad. Okay, we'll end here. We'll continue our discussions next week. Thank you all for joining.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.